I am building the Vermont Farmhouse Junior Dollhouse Kit from start to finish, and today I am showing you 2 ways to cut and install that tricky crown molding. And don't worry, there is a shortcut if you just want to avoid all that complicated math. Hello, my crafty dolls, and welcome to my craft room. I am Grandma Kitty, and this is a short video clip from a longer video of windows, doors, and trim for my Vermont Farmhouse Junior series. And I just wanted a separate, shorter video on crown molding because it is very, very tricky. So it's an easy reference to come back to. And I want to show you how to cut crown molding for inside corners. And I'm going to demonstrate the molding as a shelf, but you can use the same formula if you want crown molding around your ceiling. And then I'm going to show you a really cool shortcut to get the look of crown molding without the headache. So let's get right into the video. Okay, now it's time to put up the crown molding above the paneling. Now, the crown molding I am using is from miniaturecrush.com, and it's really nice and wide to act as a shelf above the paneling. Now, you can see just how much bigger it is compared to this smaller crown molding. Now, I painted 3 pieces of molding the same color as my paneling, and I did have an extra piece just to practice cutting those tricky corners. All right, now cutting the crown molding corners requires diagrams, math, and a very clear head. Now I have a very simple drawing of my room, the back wall, the right wall, and then the left wall. And each corner has the direction the cut needs to be. I have my practice pieces all cut and laid out for the right corner and then for the left corner. Now, the first thing I need to do is lay out all the pieces so I know how to cut each piece. Now, the back wall has the window, so I'm just going to start by cutting the back molding in half. Okay, now I have to label each piece. So first I'm taking the back right corner and I'm going to determine which side goes against the wall and write W, and then mark T for the top and label your W and T's at the end that needs to be cut. Okay, now the back right is all done. Now we need to label the back left the same way. Mark T for the top and W for the wall on the end that needs to be cut. Now go back to the right side wall and mark the T and W on the cut end. And finally, label the left side wall with the T and W. And so far, so good. All right, now let's make the first cut. Now I'm going to start with the back right inside corner. Take the piece for the back wall. Now the 45-degree angle needs to be pointed to the left on the miter cutter. Now the end that needs to be cut with the W in T, the side marked T faces down on the miter cutter, and the side marked W goes against the back. All right, and don't be afraid to double check and triple check and make your cut. I'm going to check my practice piece to see if I did it right, and the angle is perfect, so A+. Okay, so let's complete this inside corner. Take the right wall piece and change the 45-degree angle to point to the right on the miter cutter. Now, I want to point out a problem that will mess you up every time. That is the direction of the molding that needs to be in your cutting miter. Now, here I have the end that needs to be cut. The T side is facing down, but the W side is facing away from me. So to get the correct cut, always remember the T is down and the W is on the wall. So in order to fix this problem, I need to change the orientation of the molding by flipping it and have it pointed to the right. Okay, so now I have the end that needs to be cut. The T side is down and the W is on the back of the miter cutter. Okay, I think it's safe to cut now, so let's see how I did. Let's check my work against my practice piece, and it is perfect. Now let's match it up with the back piece, and look at that. I have my perfect inside corner for the right side. Now before I move on, I'm going to label my two pieces for the right side corner just so they don't get mixed up. Okay, now that we got the hang of this, let's work on the left corner. I'm going to start with the piece for the back wall, and I'm going to change my 45-degree angle to point to the right on my miter cutter. I've got the end that needs to be cut with the T facing down and the W on the back wall of my miter cutter, and my molding, most importantly, is orientated to the right. And I'm going to just make my cut, and I'm going to check my work with my practice piece, and it looks like I'm on a roll. And now to finish the left corner, we're going to take the left sidewall piece, and I'm going to change my 45-degree angle to point to the left. Now the T is down and the W is on the back wall of my miter cutter, and my last cut passes the test, and the left inside corner is all done. And just don't forget to label all of your pieces. All right, my crafty dolls, the hard part is over. We can breathe. Now all I have to do is measure and cut each piece to the correct length. And always remember to make your difficult angled cuts first before cutting the length. The straight cut is definitely the easiest. All right, my crafty dolls, just stay with me. I am almost done. We still need to sand and paint all the ends of our pieces, and I really do feel like I am in the middle of a renovation with all this work. Now, you already know that I am going to be using my favorite Grandmother Stover's glue to apply the molding, because I am gluing right on top of my wallpaper, so I do not want to ruin it. That was way too much work. Using tacky glue would ruin that paper. All right, now cutting this crown molding really was a bit of a mind twister, but I really hope I made it easier for you so you'll try it. And because it's worth it, just think of all the miniatures you can stuff onto those shelves in this cute laundry room. Now, the crown molding formula I just taught you can be used for this great shelf effect, but it is exactly the same formula you would use for crown molding along the ceiling of your room. So I hope you try it. It's going to make your room extra special. Now, I just want to quickly mention, if you are planning on crown molding for your ceiling, the most difficult piece to cut is the back wall. Now, ideally, you want a continuous, flawless piece with the angles cut on each end. Now, to avoid frustration, because it's going to happen, cut the back into two long pieces. Now, cut the right corner and then cut the left corner, and then cut them to length and then have them meet in the middle. And now we're just going to hide that gap with our spackle and some paint touch up, and no one will ever know. And this is going to save you a lot of time and, most importantly, a big headache. Now, if you still want the look of crown molding and you say to yourself, there is no way I'm going to attempt at cutting that molding, you are in luck, because there is a hack. These little plastic corner pieces are especially made for crown molding, and I got them on miniaturecrush.com, and they completely replace the need to cut the molding on an angle. And it's just an easy straight cut. And all I did is I painted them the same color as my trim. I was so excited to see these because I have crown molding in every room of my house, and I use these in all the corners. Just makes it so much easier. And all you do is glue them up into the corners of your ceiling, and then measure and cut the molding to a length. And it is a very easy, straight cut. No thinking required. Wink, wink. I am going to use my favorite glue to apply the molding to the wall, and the corner pieces really takes away all that complicated measuring, but you still have the beautiful look of crown molding. And now I want to have a very professional finish look, and I need to fill in the gap along the ceiling and in the corners. Now I'm going to take some basic wall spackle, the same stuff you use to fill nail holes in your walls. Find a really good one that doesn't shrink when it dries and that can be painted. Use your finger to press that spackle into the gaps and just use a rag to wipe it clean. And you have to just do the same thing for all the corners. And look at this, my crafty dolls. It is gorgeous. The molding looks amazing with all of the gaps filled in. It really does look professional. Now you can really see the difference in the room where I didn't fill in the gaps. Now it's all this attention to detail that make your dollhouse extra special. Now you don't have to use crown molding for this ceiling trim. You can really use anything. You can use baseboard. You can turn it upside down and install it just like you would around the floor. You can use gingerbread trim, which would look really, really cute. And I think that is exactly what I'm going to choose for my room. That will be my antique store. Now, I stained it mainly because trying to paint it with the detail would be really, really challenging. I really do need to get an airbrush. And this trim is so easy to put up. You just start with that back wall first, and then you put up the sides. And the best part is that it's all straight cuts. Now, I am going to work on the staircase in my next episode, so make sure you are subscribed. So I'm not going to finish the left side of this wall, but what do you think of my antique store so far? Thank you so much, Crafty Dolls, for watching this video. I hope I helped you decode those tricky crown molding corners. It really is a mind twister. And I hope you have the courage now to try it. And if you don't, that's okay. You can always try the crown molding hack. And I love a good hack. Now, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I also have a full video on tips on baseboards, door casings, wainscoting. So if you are interested, the link is in the description box below. I also have a building series on the Vermont Farmhouse Junior Dollhouse Kit. I have videos on wallpaper, floors, and all kinds of building tricks. I also encourage you to check out my Etsy shop. I design and create digital miniatures for your dollhouse. They are not AI created. They are made from scratch by me. I have so many unique items to choose from. You download the file, you print it at home, and then you put it together, and they are so much fun. And if you favor my Etsy shop, you will be alerted to all my new listings as soon as I post them. Now, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Grandma Kitty's Dollhouse. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.